For the benefit of those who might not have the opportunity to hear the shofar this morning, welcome today, very distinguished Yehivah from the audience from Swan Lake. And everybody knows that Swan Lake throughout the summer has probably the biggest, or one of the biggest crowds of Mispalim in their Besmerish all summer long. And they attribute it to the mikveh, to other things. I know what they attribute it to. They have a yid like Rishmul Rid, but that's probably a big part of the reason.
I'm tired already.
Yeah, no question about it. And we appreciate their joining us because they help. It's brought the time of when the temple stood, so there was the Shevet, the Leviites, the Shevet Levi. They had a special service. My mothers, that they would part of the service was they would fast that day and serve in the Beis Hamikdash. So it was brought down on Sunday. There was no Mamodas. This service did not take place on Sunday. And one of the reasons is, it said, because being that Saturday is such a day of rejoicing and sumptuous meal, the Rabbi Yam was that they shouldn't, after a day where they feasted so generously and handsomely and festively, and then on Sunday they'll fast, so the shock might be too much. So after a whole summer long, in our Besmerish, having a full Besmerish, so they help cushion the shock by coming here and make us a few more comfortable. It's it's mentioned, it's the New Year's, Rosh Hashanah faces us shortly. There's only 13 more shopping days until Rosh Hashanah. It's a time where we prepare ourselves for the new year, turn over a new leaf with resolutions and a clean slate. And we know that many times all of the resolutions and the clean slate that we want to commence for ourselves, it remains on the drawing board many times. It doesn't get off the drawing board. So what would be, like I mentioned yesterday, what would be the point of all of these resolutions? It's like the story they tell a lady who she was eating some fish, and she wasn't quite that careful, didn't realize she was enjoying the fish, so she swallowed a bone, and she was gasping, she was choking to death. They rushed to the emergency room, called in a surgeon, and he removed the bone, and he resuscitated her, he brought her back to life again. After the final visit, when he was dismissing her, so she turned to the doctor, she said, "Doctor, what do I owe you?" So he said, "I'll tell you." He said, "I'll be happy if you'll give me half as much you think it was worth while the bone was still in your throat." So if you'll keep at least half of them, but there's much more to it than that. In the narrative, where the Torah records that chapter, that episode of the Meraglim, the spies, is Kolei Bracha Cheres Hoishita. They asked Kolei so. That Kolei was the one that turned their hearts around, the spies, and he instilled in them faith, emunah, and they were righteous people at that time. And as a result, because of his efforts, he was rewarded, a tremendous reward. But the question is, shortly after, they turned right around, and they were right back where he started from. They were still the same sinners, the same spies, with lack of faith and emunah, and everything that before Kolei. What did he accomplish? That he should deserve that kind of reward. It seems from this that just like physical life, what don't we do to extend our physical life? effort and money and medicine and whatever it is, experiments, whatever we can do to extend our physical life an hour, a week, whatever moments, even that. We do everything we can, and it's brought down in halachically that you can even be machal Shabbos, you can even desecrate the Shabbos if it's going to save somebody. It'll extend his life another hour or two, just for an hour or two. You can be machal, you can do everything. Nothing stands in the way of so precious as human life. An hour or two of human life. If so much so for physical life, all the more so for spiritual life. You shouldn't think that, you come to shul and you'll sit for a half hour and you'll hear words of Torah, and then you go out in the street, you're the same person again. That half hour that you sat here in shul, that's Chai Yeshua. That has tremendous value. A man comes to shul in the morning, he puts on tefillin, so he doesn't put on the next day. But that day he did put on. Look what he took with him. He took with him such a nicer, such a treasure, treasure. A person goes, he eats kosher one day, eats kosher 2 days, and then he goes, whatever it is, the next day he doesn't. But that day, that hour, whatever he gives himself, he nourishes himself spiritually. This is something which has tremendous value, and you shouldn't leave a stone unturned to be able to bring even that very brief period of time to bring you that way. With that in mind, hope we all merit a very a good year. Amen.